Hey y'all, Shay here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to The Prodigy. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you can be notified whenever The Prodigy drops a new video. Most importantly, please share the video you like. Thank you.
What's good? It's your boy 2K here. Shout out to the movement and everybody who's moving with us. Also, shout out to the full staff over at 3kingsboxing.com. Shout out to all of our supporters and our sponsors. We really cooking over there. A lot of my time is well spent on putting out a lot of content on 3kingsboxing.com. You know, there's a lot of information that a lot of cats might already know, but they're not getting thoroughly informed. A lot of information that you should know, and a lot of shit that you can learn from what you didn't know over on 3kingsboxing.com. We put out a lot of content on a daily basis. Go check us out over there. Also, don't forget to check us out on the Movement Sports Podcast on Blog Talk Radio. We're going to move the time up. It's still going to be every Tuesday, but now it will be 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Pacific. All right. For this one, let's go ahead and break down one of the 3 cards that we're going to have tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of boxing tomorrow starting Eastern Time at like 2 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Over there in the UK. So everybody in the US, go ahead and get your streaming devices ready. Real talk. And then, of course, we have another one. The one in the UK, of course, is going to be Dillian Whyte versus Joseph Parker. An excellent fight that really didn't have to happen. You know what I'm saying? Joseph Parker could have been looking for a lighter touch, coming off a loss against Anthony Joshua, losing his WBO belt. And then, of course, Dillian Whyte, you know what I'm saying? He was supposed to be looking at fighting Kubrat Pulev for the IBF Eliminator. But instead, he looked towards Joseph Parker, which is a harder bout. You know what I'm saying? Also, Luis Ortiz was in talks, but we don't really believe that the Luis Ortiz fight was going to happen. It just really wasn't in the cards. You know what I'm saying? So the Joseph Parker fight is a much more difficult fight than Kubrat Pulev which was actually in the cards. You know what I'm saying? So neither one of these guys need to take that fight. Then, of course, midday you have featherweights Christopher Diaz versus Masayuki Ito, which is for the WBO featherweight title. And then, of course, at night, which will be 10 o'clock Eastern Time, is going to be the card we're getting ready to break down. Mikey Garcia will look to unify the 135-pound division against the IBF champion, Robert Easter Jr. Of course, Mikey Garcia is the WBC champion. That is what makes this a unification bout. Now, one thing I want to get out there is this, and I will explain myself thoroughly after I make this statement so people don't get it misconstrued. The one thing that I've always said since they announced this fight was that this fight is really going to be dependent on what Robert Easter Jr. does in the ring. Now let me explain. This doesn't mean that I'm saying Robert Easter Jr. is the more skillful fighter, and you know, if he ends up having mental lapses in the ring, then the less skillful fighter and Mikey Garcia will have opportunities and end up beating him. That's not what I'm saying. Actually, Mikey Garcia is the much more skillful fighter. I think he's the better boxer. He's the better inside fighter. He's the better thinker in the ring than Robert Easter Jr. And the fact that Mikey Garcia is now on all respectable pound-for-pound lists is a testament as to why, right? Just look at his resume. He's got some very good wins on his resume, right? So I believe Mikey Garcia is the better overall fighter. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I think the result of this fight is contingent on what Robert Easter Jr. does in the ring is simply because of this, fellas. He boasts a 5-inch height advantage and an 8-inch reach advantage, right? Mikey Garcia is 5'6", Robert Easter Jr. is 5'11", okay? Mikey Garcia's reach is 68 inches. Robert Easter's reach is 76 inches. What that means is if Robert Easter Jr. can play the fucking outside like he's supposed to behind the jab, he could effectively turn Mikey Garcia into a one-dimensional fighter, right? Because he will have to get around the jab, get around the straight shots, and only elect to get on the inside, right? Even at mid-range distance, Robert Easter Jr., if he's using his movement the way that he should, the way that boxers move away from their opponents, even mid-range distance won't be close enough for Mikey Garcia, right? He's going to have to get on the inside and work the body. If Robert Easter Jr. is doing what I have said time and time and time again on this channel that he needs to do, which is box, use the Tommy Hearns-like gifted physical abilities that you fucking possess at the lightweight division. Of course, Hearns possessed it at welterweight, right? Moved up to middleweight and possessed it there as well. But he's possessing this at lightweight, right? Same thing with Paul Williams. He possessed it at welterweight and at junior middleweight and at middleweight, right? You're at lightweight possessing this. Box from the outside. Move around the ring. Don't get into phone booth type of matchups, right? Type of exchanges, excuse me, right? Let's look at his last few fights. You know, I'll start off with Denis Shafikov. You know, a lot of people thought Robert Easter Jr. lost that fight because he allowed Denis Shafikov to drag him into a phone booth type of fight. So you got this long, lanky ass dude throwing a lot of short, compact punches on the inside while he's fighting a highly aggressive fighter, right? Who lacks the physical advantages to be able to even touch him if he were to just stay on the outside. It's an easy game plan that Robert Easter Jr., for whatever fucking reason, cannot execute for 12 rounds. He just can't do it. You know, he for some reason, he's a boxer puncher at heart. Now, you know, me being a boxer, an ex-fighter, an ex-amateur fighter, right? You know, I like slick fighters. That's what I like, right? I like, you know, guys that use their brain in the ring. I like guys that use all of the ring. They utilize a lot of lateral movement. You know what I'm saying? They like to set traps from the outside. They like to set traps from mid-range distance like Andre Ward does, right? Setting traps on the outside like Erislan De Lara used to do. He didn't do it that much against Jared Hurd. But, you know, the way he boxes normally, that's what he does, right? That's the type of styles I like. But as a fighter, I knew I could not do that, right? My heart was like, well, it's not that I couldn't do it, but my heart was me. I needed to be the aggressor. I'm a very strong dude, you know what I'm saying? So I would get on the inside of cats and work the body. That's what I used to do. Even though I favored the outside slick fighter, right? See, Robert Easter Jr. favors the boxer puncher style, but he has all the tools to fight from the outside. You see what I'm saying? Now me, I favor the slick boxer, but I had all the tools to fight from the inside. So even though I could have went on the outside and attempted to do that, I knew that my strengths were fighting on the inside, giving short, compact punches to the midsection and to the liver. That's what my strengths were. Robert Easter Jr. in this fight, right? He hasn't been doing his last 4 fights, but in this fight, he's going to have to understand that he needs to play to his strengths. He can't make those mental lapses in this fight like he did against Javier Fortuna, right? Against Richard Comey. He can't do that, right? A lot of people thought those are 3 fights a lot of people thought he lost. And I'm not looking at his resume. He fought another guy, Hispanic guy. I can't remember his name. It was right after the Richard Comey fight. then I think it was Denis Shafikov, and then I believe it was Javier Fortuna. I think that was the order in which his last 4 fights were in. And 3 out of those 4, the majority of boxing fans thought he lost because he gave up his height and reach. Against a cerebral fighter like Mikey Garcia, he 100% absolutely unequivocally cannot do that. He's going to have to play to his strengths, right? Mikey Garcia, as good as he is and as cerebral as he is, right? He runs the risk of being turned into a one-dimensional fighter here. If Robert Easter Jr. just does exactly what the hell he should have been doing since he started his career, then we are going to see how smart Mikey Garcia really is, right? Now, a lot of people in the past, they used to say Mikey Garcia was the Mexican version of Floyd Mayweather. You know, we found out not too much later, preferably when he fought Rocky Martinez, that might not be true. He was dropped in that fight, right? That might not be true, you know what I'm saying? But he is still a very good fighter, and he has elite level skills, right? I don't think he has an elite level brain, but Mikey Garcia is one of the smarter fighters in the sport, but I don't think his brain is at the elite level. There's only a select few that have an elite level brain, you know what I'm saying? So I think that if Robert Easter Jr. does what he's supposed to do in this fight, and we are still able to see Mikey Garcia not be turned into a one-dimensional fighter, be able to get around the things that Robert Easter Jr. is doing that play to his strength and still be able to win the fight, then it might be a testament to being able to put Mikey Garcia's brain at the elite level, simply because he overcame the biggest form of adversity that he could have overcome, right? A 5-inch height and an 8-inch reach disadvantage against one of the elite level fighters in the division, not in the sport, people. Listen to what I'm saying. One of the elite level fighters in the division. Hell, Robert Easter Jr. is a better boxer than his boss. You know what I'm saying? Which is Adrian Broner. If those two fought, I'm picking Robert Easter Jr. Even though Adrian Broner's his boss. You know what I'm saying? So he's the best fighter in his in the stable that he's a part of, that he doesn't even own. He's the best fighter there, right? So he's one of the elite level fighters at 135. If Robert Garcia is able to show us that he can overcome this type of disadvantage that he's getting ready to go up against, and the guy actually tries to utilize his advantages 100% of the time for 12 straight rounds, hell yeah, that's going to be a smart motherfucker. And that's something that we won't be able to deny, right? Now, I won't take anything away from him if Robert Easter Jr. goes in there and does what he's been doing the last fucking 4 fights he's been in, and that's giving up his height and reach. And, you know, Mikey Garcia's like, okay, cool, my opportunities are there. I'm about to work the body. I'm about to set these traps. You know what I'm saying? Whenever he throws a jab, I'm about to come over the top with a right hand. If he ends up doing all that, right, then I won't take anything away from Mikey Garcia. But again, I'll still need to see a little bit more to be able to say, yeah, he's got an elite level brain, because let's face it, Robert Easter Jr. will have given him the opportunities to be able to take that fight. I want to see Mikey Garcia in a fight where the fighter is utilizing all of his advantages and Garcia actually takes over the fight and defeats that guy regardless. This is that fight right here. This is that fight. This isn't the best fight on Mikey Garcia's resume, but I'm gonna say something to you guys, and you may or may not agree. But this is the most dangerous, given that Robert Easter Jr. does what he's supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? Let that shit sink in. Think of all the people that Mikey Garcia has fought. Think about how the majority of those guys' styles played directly into Mikey Garcia's hands, right? But this guy, who can actually fight from the outside, he just has mental lapses in the ring because he loves to be the boxer puncher. He stops boxing from the outside and makes it a close fight, right? Makes it a mid-range to inside distance type of fight. But if that guy actually stays on the outside, this is the most dangerous fight for Mikey Garcia up to this point in his career. Not Adrian Broner, not Juanma Lopez, not Orlando Salido, not Rocky Martinez. Given the disadvantages that he's facing, it's Robert Easter Jr. That's why this is such a great fight. You know, Mikey Garcia's got 10-1 odds. You know what I'm saying? Which means if you bet $100 on Robert Easter Jr. and he wins, you're going to win 1,000. That's how much of an underdog Robert Easter Jr. is. And I don't think that shit is warranted. You know what I'm saying? But I know why Las Vegas is looking at it like that. Because they see exactly what I see. In his last 4 fights, he gave up his height and reach advantage. Man, and that's what I think is going to happen here, fellas. I think Robert Easter Jr., man, he's got too much of a love to want to be the boxer puncher that he's going to give up his height and reach again, as we've seen in his last fight against Javier Fortuna, against Richard Commey, against Denis Shafikov, right? He's going to give up his height and reach again. And as smart as I believe Mikey Garcia is, even though I said that he's going to need to be in a situation where he's going to need to prove that he has an elite level brain. In my opinion, I think that he possesses that elite level brain. We just haven't seen it yet, right? And I think that the fact that he is very smart, it's gonna play a role here. Whenever Robert Easter Jr. gives up that height and reach, Mikey Garcia is going to show him exactly why he's a better chess player, right? I got Mikey Garcia winning this fight. Honestly, man, I'm telling y'all, if Robert Easter Jr. stayed on the outside, I'd actually be picking Robert Easter Jr. That's how much of a dangerous fight this is. That's how much of an advantage Robert Easter Jr. has. Hell, if y'all remember, a little bit back in the day when this channel first started, I made a video talking about, other things in boxing, but I mentioned in that video, at that time, Easter wasn't the champion. He was still fighting, D-level fighters. I said my favorite prospect in the sport at that time was Robert Easter Jr. So that tells you how much respect I had for the kid at that time. And I still do have respect for him. He's an undefeated fighter, and he's gone through some adversity. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, man, in this fight, you just can't do what you have become accustomed to doing in your fights. And that's giving up your advantages, man. He just can't do it, but I think he will do it. I got Mikey Garcia. I think it's going to be a decent fight. I believe the earlier rounds, Robert Easter Jr. will come out trying to box. Mikey Garcia is going to have a little bit of trouble getting around that jab. He's going to be reading the patterns of Robert Easter Jr. As he's reading those patterns, Easter Jr. is going to become complacent in the ring like he always does. He's going to start feeling himself like he always does, just like he did at the fucking weigh-in, right? And he's going to move in a little bit closer. Hell, Mikey Garcia might even bait the guy into moving in a little bit closer. Might taunt him a little bit. Might throw a little bit of feints. Might act like he's going to charge in and shit and then step out and make Robert Easter Jr. step a little bit in. You know what I'm saying? However it's done, I still think Robert Easter Jr. is going to end up coming inside, getting a little bit close, a little bit too close, getting too complacent. And that's when Mikey Garcia is going to take over the fight. I got Garcia by unanimous decision, possibly a stoppage. YouTube, do what you do in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this fight, but be real. Also, like I said, don't forget Dillian White versus Joseph Parker, Christopher Diaz versus Masayuki Ito. This is real talk for real fans. One.